New 2020 laws. Effective January 1, 2020. SB 485, Beal, CH 505, Stats. 2019. This law repeals provisions that authorize or require courts to suspend, revoke, or restrict a driver, or order the Department of Motor Vehicles (DMV) to delay licensure for a person convicted of prostitution or vandalism, a minor convicted of unlawful possession or use of a firearm, or offenses related to possession, purchase, sale, or transport of controlled substances involving the use of a vehicle. The law also prohibits courts from ordering DMV to delay licensure, suspend, revoke, or restrict a person based upon a conviction of minor's possession use of controlled substances or alcohol for specified violations. AB 2918, Holden, CH 723, Stats. 2018. This law requires the DMV to include information in the California Driver Handbook regarding a person's civil rights during a traffic stop, including the right to file a complaint against a peace officer, as specified. The following information was developed by the Civil Rights Section of the Department of Justice in consultation with DMV, the California Highway Patrol, the Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training, and civil rights organizations. Your rights during an enforcement stop. If an officer asks your permission to do something, you have a right to say no. However, if you say no and the officer says they are going to do it anyway, you do not have a right to interfere with their actions. For example, an officer may request to search part or all of your vehicle. You have a right to decline that request, but the officer may have the legal authority to search your vehicle anyway under certain circumstances. If you do not want the officer to search your vehicle, you should clearly say that you do not give your permission, but you do not have a right to resist or obstruct the officer if they search your vehicle anyway. The driver of a stopped vehicle must produce a driver license, proof of insurance, and vehicle registration when stopped by law enforcement. If a driver does not produce these documents, officers may conduct a limited search for them. An officer may also request the names or identification of passengers. Passengers can decline that request, but under some circumstances the passengers may be required to identify themselves anyway. If passengers do not want to produce their identification, they should clearly say so. Passengers should not interfere with the officers' duties in conducting the traffic stop, and if an officer demands identification, passengers should not interfere with the officer's actions. During a traffic stop, an officer can legally require the driver and all passengers to exit or stay inside the vehicle. If you are told to exit the vehicle or stay inside, you must do so. In California, only federal law enforcement officers can ask you about your immigration status. California law prohibits state and local officers from asking drivers or passengers about their immigration status. If a California law enforcement officer asks you about your immigration status, you can decline to answer. In general, the First Amendment protects the right of drivers and passengers to record interactions with police in public spaces. If you are recording, you should immediately make that clear. You do not have a right to interfere with the officer's lawful duties during the enforcement stop, and you should not reach into concealed areas to retrieve your recording device without the officer's permission. If your recording is not interfering with the officer's ability to lawfully do their job, an officer cannot confiscate your recording device, delete the recording, or destroy the device just because you are using it to record. In general, you also have the right to deny a request to unlock a cellular phone or provide a password to it, though under some circumstances such as if you are on parole you may have to give permission in response to such requests. Finally, no government employee can retaliate against you just because you recorded something in public. Even if you believe your rights were violated, you should not engage in physical resistance or violence against the officer. If an officer does something that you believe violates your rights, you can voice your objection, but you should not physically resist. Everyone has the right to be safe during a traffic stop. Your safety and the officer's safety could be jeopardized if the situation escalates with physical resistance or violence. All members of the public have a right to file a complaint against any peace officer or law enforcement agency, and it is against the law for any government employee to retaliate against you for doing so. You can file a complaint with any agency that employs the officer, whether a sheriff's office, police department, or any other law enforcement agency. You have a right to be free from discrimination based on your actual or perceived race, sex, color, ethnicity, national origin, age, religion, gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, mental or physical disability, medical condition, or citizenship status. You also have other rights guaranteed by the United States and California constitutions, as well as California and federal laws. When you file a complaint, the agency that employs the officer must investigate the complaint. Links to contact information for California. DMV information. Some field offices may have extended hours and may be open on Saturdays, and a few offer only driver license or identification, DL/ID, card or vehicle registration services. Behind-the-wheel exams are not offered on Saturday. To find out if your local field office has extended hours, or to find a field office location and service options, visit dmv.ca.gov or call 1-800-777-0133. Go online at dmv.ca.gov for to field office locations, hours, directions, phone numbers, and acceptable forms of payment. Make appointments to visit a field office or take a driving test, except for commercial driving tests. Complete the electronic driver license and ID card application. EDL-44. Change your address with DMV records. Order personalized plates. DL/ID card information, including real ID. Vehicle vessel registration information. Downloadable forms. Publications, handbooks, brochures, and sample tests. Senior driver information. Teen driver information. Links to other state and federal agencies. Ask DMV's chatbot Miles DMV related questions. Renew your DL or vehicle registration. Order replacement vehicle registration card or sticker. Self-service kiosk, DMV Now kiosks, locations and acceptable forms of payment. Call 1-800-777-0133 during normal business hours to obtain request DL and vehicle registration information, forms, and publications. Find office locations and hours. Make a driving test appointment. Speak to a DMV representative or request a call back. Call 1-800-777-0133 for automated service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 2. Renew your vehicle registration with the Renewal Identification Number (RIN) provided on your billing notice. You can pay with a credit card or e-check. Make a field office appointment. Make sure to have your DL or ID card number, vehicle license plate number, and/or vehicle identification number then available. Persons who are deaf, hard of hearing, or persons with speech impairments can call toll-free 1-800-368-4327 for assistance with DMV services. Only typed messages from another TTY are received and responded to at this number. Where to write. If you have any comments or suggestions regarding this publication, please send them to Department of Motor Vehicles Customer Communications Section, MSH 165 P.O. Box 932345, Sacramento, California, 94232, 3450. The California driver license. Who must have a driver license? California residents. California residents who drive on public highways or use parking facilities that are open to the public must have a California DL, unless they are an officer or employee of the United States, U.S. government operating a vehicle owned or controlled by the U.S. government on federal business, except when operating a commercial motor vehicle. Driving or operating implements of husbandry not operated or moved over a highway. Driving or operating an off-highway vehicle to cross a highway. California resident military personnel, U.S. Armed Forces. If you are out of state on active military duty and have a valid California DL, you and your spouse's California DL will be valid for the full time you are absent from California and for 30 days following your discharge date. If you are honorably discharged outside of California, carry both your DL and discharge or separation documents during those 30 days. CVC 12817. Call 1-800-777-0133 to obtain an extension of license for person in Armed Forces, DL 236, card which extends your California DL. Note, your DL is not valid if it is suspended, cancelled, or revoked. Non-resident military personnel stationed in California. If you are 18 years old or older, refer to the California Residents and Adults Visiting California sections in this handbook for additional information. Licensees eligible for military extensions should carry documentation from their home state to verify their status to law enforcement. New California residents. When you become a California resident and you want to drive in California, you must apply for a California DL within 10 days. Residency is established in a variety of ways, including the following: being registered to vote in California elections, paying resident tuition at a California college or university, filing for a homeowner's property tax exemption, receiving any other privilege or benefit not ordinarily extended to non-residents. Adults visiting California. Visitors over 18 years old with a valid DL from their home state or country may drive in California without getting a California DL as long as their home state or country DL is valid. Safety for the aging driver. DMV has a handbook specifically for senior drivers. Visit dmv.ca.gov to view or download the Senior Guide for Safe Driving, DL 625. Call 1-800-777-0133 to request a copy be mailed, go to a local DMV field office, or contact the Senior Driver Ombudsman Program in your area. Los Angeles and Central Coast Counties.